The Palace of Auburn Hills, Michigan, where we're all set for second round action here in the Midwest. Iowa State, the number 6 seed, against the 3rd seeded Cincinnati Bearcats. And so far, take a look. Iowa State and Cincinnati, the winner to face Xavier, the Xavier UCLA winner. And good afternoon, everybody. I'm Gus Johnson along with Quinn Buckner. Iowa State, Cincinnati all set to meet for the first time ever. And Quinn, when you look at this game, it features 2 guys, an All-American in Danny Fortson, and also a player, Kelvin Cato, who keeps getting better and better every day.
Gus, it seems like he's coming into his own. This guy is starting to do a lot of good things for the Iowa State. What he does is he's got a long reach, so he can get out and block shots, and I think that's more important. He had 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 block shots last game, which was a career high for him. He's starting to get a little offense. It's his defense they've got to have, because this is the guy he's got to guard. All-American Danny Fortson. He's a wide body. He's about 6'7". He's 270 pounds, has great lower body strength to go with long arms. They've got to corral Danny Fortson if they're going to have any chance to have any success this afternoon.
Danny Fortson, 24 points, 12 rebounds against Butler. Now let's take a look at the lineups for Iowa State. Kenny Pratt, their 2nd leading scorer. He's going to have to do better in this game, putting the ball in the basket. Only 1 of 7 on Thursday, 5 points. And for Cincinnati, Ruben Patterson averaging 15 points in the last 7 games, but he has been hampered by a sore ankle. Let's see if he'll be able to shake it off and get the ball to the basket. So Cincinnati, they come into this game 26-7. They beat Butler 86-69 on Thursday. And Bob Huggins in his 8th year, he's led the Bearcats to 6 20-win seasons, including the Final 4 during the 1991-92 season. Iowa State 21-8. They finished 10-6 in the Big 12. As you take a look at the officials, David Libby, John Cal, David Day. And Tim Floyd, one of the hot young coaches in college basketball, his 3rd season at Iowa State, replaced Johnny Orr, and he's led the Cyclones to the NCAA tournament all 3 years.
Gus, this is a game when you think of Iowa State. I think the thing that they have going for them is the old Indiana, if you will, statistic. They make more foul shots than their opponents attempt. They need to have that kind of afternoon because they're not a team that generates a lot of offense, even though Dedric Willoughby is an outstanding shooter.
Iowa State coming off a 69-57 win over Illinois State. There's Jackson Julson. His shot off the mark, rebounded by Jacy Holloway.
Coming right out, you see they're going to come defensively at Jacy Holloway with Davis trying to pressure him to force the offense out in man-to-man.
Cato caught away from the basket. They swing at Holloway with Terrence Davis guarding him. And here's Kenny Pratt. Inside, Cato trying to drop to the basket, double team, broken up. Here come the Bearcats on the break. And a whistle away from the basketball. That'll be a foul against, it looks like, Danny Fortson.
It is. He's inside, and they're face guarding, or they call it shading, Danny Fortson, and they'll do it with 2 people. One will be Kenny Pratt, and then they'll come in with Klay Thomas. They call that foul against Danny Fortson.
Danny Fortson, a junior, the 2nd all-time leading scorer in the history of Cincinnati basketball, behind the great Oscar Robertson. And the question is, will he stay in college basketball after this season? And he doesn't feel like he's been treated fairly by some of the officials this year.
Yeah, he's made the comment, you know, that they won't let him just play, and because of that, he's thinking he's probably going to leave school. That's, you know, that's a decision he's got to make after the season.
Kelvin Cato missing his first shot. Here's Patterson, bad ankle and all, dumps it down. Julson holding it up high. Here's Patterson, 3-point attempt, and off the back of the iron. Loose ball picked up by Bankhead.
Gus, Julson is a guy that Iowa State is willing to let take shots. They'll take a chance that he won't make enough to beat them. They'll come off of him and double team.
Kenny Pratt, 6'2", Willoughby way downtown.
Shooting the 3-ball.
And Dedric Willoughby really wanting to improve his 3-point shooting. 1 of 7 against Illinois State.
See how they're backing off, just making sure they know exactly where Danny Fortson is.
Julson off the front of the rim, rebounded by Kelvin Cato. Holloway pushing. Iowa State jumping out to a 5-0 lead. 17:32 to go here in the first half of play. This is the first meeting between these two teams, and that's a good sign as we get a traveling call against the Bearcats. Kenny Pratt working inside. He got his first basket early.
Well, Kenny Pratt has done a good job on both sides of the ball. He defended very well on Danny Fortson as you take a look at the brackets, but I think he got an easy basket on the other end. I think that gets him going offensively, and they need Kenny Pratt to go.
The winners here will head down to Texas to meet in San Antonio, and here's a steal. Davis on the baseline, Levitt jumping, and he's fouled. Cincinnati against Butler forced 16 turnovers, and for Bob Huggins, his team is known for that full court pressure.
Well, they'll put full court pressure on. They had a 2-2-1 three-quarter court trap. That's the way they can avoid having to go against Tim Floyd's Calvin Cato. If they get some pressure turnovers, Cato won't be back there to block shots, and they need to get some points easily.
So Melvin Levitt steps to the free throw line. Sophomore from Cleveland, Ohio. And he'll get the first to go. 78% free throw shooter on the season. Now don't forget, coming up, some of you will see the start of the College of Charleston, Arizona game at 4:55 in Memphis. College of Charleston, 23 straight wins, the longest winning streak in college basketball currently. Here's a full court press. Holloway leaves his feet. Pratt, and he'll get it over the line.
Pratt is one that really gives him a third ball handler, but he's like a 6'2" power forward, and the advantage is obviously he can help them when they're trying to break a press.
Inside again, changing his shot, rebounded by Terrence Davis. He's a point guard, and he'll hold things up. And a foul inside. That'll be Kenny Pratt as he shoves Danny Fortson out of bounds.
Well, I find it hard to believe that anyone can shove Danny Fortson out of bounds, but they definitely call the foul on Kenny Pratt. I mean, they bump here a little bit, and they make some contact, and there's a little Oscar going on there. I didn't think he could push him quite that hard, but that's a smart play. Danny Fortson starting to learn how to get some fouls on the other end.
In the ball game now, Darnell Burton for Cincinnati. He had 19 points against Butler. There he is. He'll take his first shot and hit.
This is the guy that scares Tim Floyd the most. Darnell Burton, because Burton is a guy who can shoot it with range, so he'll extend your defense.
Burton 5 of 9 from the three-point line in 25 minutes. And he had a 6 for 26 slump going on from the three-point line prior to that game. And we're tied at 5 apiece. Watch Dedric Willoughby running the baseline. He pops out, spots up, and got it.
What they decided to do, Tim Floyd called that from the sideline. They saw Burton, who's a good athlete, great shooter, guarding Willoughby, and they decided to attack him. And that's how Willoughby got open, playing against more offensive-minded players.
At 21 points against Illinois State, 8 of 17 from the field, 6 now. Bobby Brannon at the top of the key. Here's Burton again. Count it.
Oh, he's on. So we'll have a 3-ball contest from now on because both of the guys can shoot threes.
Both guys with 6 points. There's a full court press. They throw it ahead to Bankhead. Darnell Burton, for the 2nd straight year, the 6th man of the year in Conference USA. Cato inside, double team. Here's a kick out. Holloway. Now, if he starts hitting shots, Cincinnati could be in trouble.
Well, it helps because it stretches the defense. Jacy Holloway doesn't shoot it a lot, but he's very capable. They've made all 3 of their 3-point attempts so far.
Talking to Tim Floyd, he said that Holloway needs separation to get his shot off, and he was wide open on that attempt. Bobby Brannon, and he nails it. Both teams coming out on fire to begin this basketball game. A 1-point lead now for Iowa State.
Well, Brandon is one of the guys they're willing to take a chance on, Gus. If he starts to hit 3, maybe his fourth shot, they finally will have to guard him. They'll let him try to make baskets down.
At 12 points, 10 rebounds against Butler. Holloway inside, Cato looks backside, Bankhead too strong. Bearcats on the move. Damon Flint thought about it. Here's Brannon, 18-footer. And as you mentioned,
that's why they'll take the chance, because they think one or two things. A guy that's not a scorer, they're willing to take the chance that if he starts making 2 or 3, he starts thinking, I need to get it to somebody else. So he's not a great concentrator of shots.
14:06 to go, 11-10 score.
NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, the Principal Financial Group, UPS, and by Mountain Dew.
The Palace of Auburn Hills, Michigan, here in the Midwest region. Iowa State on top by 1. And Kelvin Cato coming off that sterling effort against Illinois State. 29 points, 8 block shots, 12 rebounds, 11 of 15 from the field. But when we talked before the game, and you said that offensively, that's not where they need him for this particular game.
Well, I don't think, yes. I said that because I don't ever think they really need that kind of offense. He normally averages 11 points a game, so he obviously doubled that. What he has to do is come over and help out defensively, and that's why they've got Kenny Pratt guarding Danny Fortson and Kelvin Cato to come help and block shots.
There's a lob, and we'll get a foul on the backside. Looks like Burton.
They come out of timeout, and it appears they were going to run the lob for Bankhead, and Burton was not anticipating that, and I think Burton picked up a second foul.
So Darnell Burton will take a seat. He leaves with 6 points. And Jacy Holloway ready to send it inbounds. Here's Cato.
We were talking yesterday with Dedric Willoughby, and he talks about, first of all, that 5 starters and all our seniors on this team, and they look like they were ready to play yesterday.
Traveling violation called against Kenny Pratt. Don't forget now, coming up, some of you will see the College of Charleston take on Lute Olson's Arizona team at 4:55 right here. 1-point ball game, 13:44 to go in the first half of play. Iowa State in the gold uniform, Cincinnati in white. From the corner, and Brannon, soft touch on the baseline.
Yeah, Brandon is a guy that's a fairly decent shooter. He shoots about 47%. But they were, again, let's take a chance. Come off of him, let somebody else make plays.
Brandon averaging 8 points and 5.7 rebounds in the last 3 games. And Cato just taking off and jamming it down.
You know, he's really excited because as we talked to him yesterday, just before the game, his brother showed up. His brother, Don, is his younger brother. It's the first time and one of the few times he's seen him play. So he said he was really geek in the vernacular, being really excited about the game. And you could see he's got that energy coming back again.
Inside, Levitt. Rebound, Brown. Too strong. And take another look at Kelvin Cato taking off on the baseline.
Well, first of all, this is good defensive pressure by Davis, and Davis got fooled and didn't think that Cato could get there, but you could see long arms, long stride, was able to get there and finish, because Davis should have been able to cut him off because the quickness should have been to his advantage.
Levitt, Fortson, rebound inside, head fake, and he'll get the basket.
Yeah, because once he's under there, Pratt can't move him, and he's afraid to foul him down there.
Here's a full court pressure, and according to Danny Fortson and the staff at Cincinnati, they are not going to allow Cato's shot blocking prowess to affect their game plan. Here's Kenny Pratt inside, and he was all alone.
The defense has fallen asleep on the right side. They've done a very good job of covering the middle, but they're bringing a man up from what is the defensive right side, and that's what's opened that up for both Cato and that time Kenny Pratt.
Danny Fortson calling for the ball. He's being face guarded by Kenny Pratt. They swing it. Davis inside. Fortson, great catch. Pump fake. He'll get it again. Go up strong and is fouled. That's the All-American.
Well, he said that he's willing to take a chance on getting shots blocked. He's been getting them blocked. He's had them blocked before and then missed it. You'll see right here, he gets intimidated here by Cato. So he tries to come back, use his body. But Cato goes out of the play and then comes over late. No question about the foul. I mean, Cato has to get right back into the action as opposed to when you see Fortson go jump away from him. He did that, and that's the problem. And now on the sideline, I believe there's a contact that was lost by Danny Fortson in that action. So that's why we're held up here for a moment.
So Danny Fortson and the Cincinnati coaching staff talking to Bob Huggins. They said, hey, we're going to go into Danny the same way we do all the time, 20 times or more. And Danny plans on trying to get the big fella in early foul trouble. He picked up his first there. 11 minutes, 51 seconds to go here in the first half of play. Cincinnati with a 2-point lead.
Gus, right here, the guy you have to be worried about is Danny Fortson. Here's his man coming to him, and he makes a bad decision, does Danny Fortson. Watch, the pass comes, and Fortson steps to his man, leaving the lane open. He's got to get down there, and his teammates have to let him know they don't have any help. So Danny Fortson went to sleep that time on the baseline play out of the trap.
Cincinnati picking up full court. Jacy Holloway dribbling between the defense, and they get it over the line. Willoughby with 6 points. He's hit 2 threes from the corner. And it's kept in bounds by Bobby Brannon.
Yeah, that's part of Brannon's job. That's what he really does, is he gets a lot of the loose balls. And on that particular one, he just saved it in bounds. As we look at Iowa State has come out with Cato out of the game. They've got a 2-3 zone. Now they need to make sure where the shooters are, and one of them is Flint. He can shoot shots, so they've got to keep an eye on him. You see, they get out and they'll chase right to the ball, and they'll try to point it.
5 on the shot clock. Levitt elevating on the baseline, and his shot too strong. Klay Edwards with the rebound.
Got both of the centers out of the game. Dedric Willoughby should come alive, but this is the time for Kenny Pratt to step up because he doesn't have to worry about running into Danny Fortson.
He's also got a 6'2" player guarding him, so if he posts him up with his experience in the low post, he should be successful. There he is. Couldn't draw the foul.
I don't know how he couldn't draw a foul. That was a foul. I mean, they did a very good job of getting him open. What I do appreciate about him, though, Gus, you notice he didn't go back and say anything to the officials. He gave the ball fake, didn't get the call, and he just got right back to the line.
So Fortson coming back into the ball game. Here's Pratt straight to the basket and one. Somehow he managed to lose Melvin Levitt on the curl all alone, and he'll go to the free throw line.
They've got to get him in the game, and Bob Huggins knows that for him to get an easy layup gives him confidence. Kenny Pratt 1 for 7 in the first game here in the regional. Right here, he just makes a good turn. What he had done had gone back to the top of the key, and they gave him a good screen because he looked like he was going to go outside and just came in. You get a chance to see him right there, and Klay Edwards sets the good pick.
So Kenny Pratt gets the free throw to fall, and he's got 7 points. Remember, he only had 5 against Illinois State, 1 of 7 from the field. He's already 3 of 5. He's their second leading scorer, averaging close to 15 points per game.
I like how everybody was saying from Iowa State that he was 6'5". And then when you finally get them stand next to him, if he's 6'3", then
lucky.
They're very lucky.
Patterson trying to work his way down low. Here's Fortson. And Danny Fortson so strong on the low post.
And I thought Cato didn't do a very good job there. He was guarding Patterson and had a chance to get over to affect the shot, and he just stood and watched. You've got to get every opportunity you can. You got to get there. Danny Fortson just picked up his second foul. Boy, and I'm telling you, in the vernacular of Bill Raftery, that's a dima.
So Danny Fortson will have to take a seat, picking up his second, and that's what Danny has been alluding to. Not really getting a fair shake, according to him. from the officials, and that could potentially make him turn towards the NBA. Out of bounds, Cato unable to keep it in, and Cincinnati will get it back.
Yeah, the good scramble down there on the floor. And Holloway threw the ball actually where Cato should have gotten it, because he threw it as a lob because everybody was on the ground and Cato mishandled it.
In the turnover situation, Iowa State 4, Cincinnati 2. Bearcats had 20 turnovers in their last game against Butler. They averaged 15.
Gus, this is a good time to zone Cincinnati, because they don't have they're so intent on getting inside. Kenyon Martin just got a 3-second call, because without shooters, they don't have a lot of places to go. Flint was right there, and instead Martin got the 3-second call. That was a good move by Tim Floyd.
We've had 8 lead changes so far. There's a full court pressure.
Mainly to keep the ball out of Holloway's hands. You got to stick this one.
Steps up and drains it.
3 ball. Corner pocket.
Jacy Holloway, who had not hit a field goal in the past 4 games already. He's got 6 points, both threes.
Gus, but he had what you talked about. He had separation. Nobody was near him, and he can shoot that shot.
Flint from downtown.
And I mean, deep. Deep.
Damon Flint playing with sunglasses, got poked in the eye in practice. A couple of days later, the eye closed on him, and they got him a pair of sunglasses, or goggles rather, for the tournament. And we'll get a foul inside. Damon Flint does have some range.
Oh, he's got range, and he's one of the real shooters they have on the floor. But you see, coming here, this is a pass from Kenny Pratt. He gets it back, and then he moves away. Brannon comes under him, and the official makes the call of the foul. And Damon Flint just steps right into just a deep 3, because he saw his team had no other offensive alternative.
So Kenny Pratt missing the free throw. So far, Iowa State really stroking the basketball. They're shooting 62% from the field. Cincinnati, not bad either, 47% for them. And this man making his presence felt on the offensive end. 7 points so far, make it 8.
This is a time for Iowa State to be aggressive, because they don't have to worry about much of the offense with Danny Fortson sitting on the bench.
Here's Kenyon Martin, freshman out of Dallas. They reverse it. Almost a steal. Brannon hangs on to it. 18 to shoot. Davis, left-hander. Strong. Rebounded by Bankhead. Here's Holloway. He'll push it up the floor. Willoughby got to step inside. Goes up, and an offensive foul.
Well, they tried to push it up before the defense could get there, but again, Brannon, the guy doing dirty work, was in position.
Dedric Willoughby picking up his 2nd foul. 5th team foul called against the Cyclones, and a substitution. DeJuan Baker, a junior from Fort Worth, Texas, in the ball game. Junior college All-American last season, playing at Midland College. Approaching the 8-minute mark, tied at 22, and an offensive foul. That one on the opposite side of the ball.
They got Kenyon Martin on the outside of the ball, and what Bob Huggins has is one of those unusual lineups on the floor, because he's not, normally you'd know Fortson's going to be on the floor, or Burton or Patterson. He's got them sitting down at this point, so he's got a strange lineup, and they are not in sync offensively.
7th foul against the Bearcats, so Iowa State in the 1-and-1 situation. Dedric Willoughby at the free throw line.
Hey, Gus, this is what Tim Floyd talked about yesterday. This is where they wanted to get the game to, where it was a free throw shooting contest, and right here, 8 minutes, they're in the penalty. This is what he was trying to get accomplished.
Against Illinois State, Iowa State 20 of 27 from the free throw line. Illinois State 5 of 9, so they do want to make their living at the stripe and force Cincinnati to become a jump shooting team.
And they practice defensively hands off, which means when you practice playing a man, don't put your hands on him so you don't foul, and then you get to the foul line. Don't block.
Cato got a piece of it. Holloway on the move. And he'll back things up. Iowa State, especially in their half-court set, they show a lot of patience on offense.
Well, that's what 5 seniors will do for you. They'll be patient. They know there's really no need to rush to where they're going because they don't get a lot of good things. That was a rush by Bankhead, and that's why he turned and stepped out of bounds.
7:23 remaining in the first half, 24-22.
Game being played in the paint, 24-22, 7:23 left in the first half. Pat O'Brien in New York, along with Clark Kellogg. Let's take a look around the tournament and go to Memphis, where College of Charleston, Arizona are battling it out. Arizona in white, and they lead by 2, Clark.
Well, again, Arizona, a team that likes to play up-tempo. Charleston, on the other hand, would like to establish Thaddeus Delaney inside and then let Anthony Johnson, their outstanding point guard, control the game from his position.
Shack at the tack. Charleston went right at Arizona early, and then Arizona just gone on a 9-2 run, and they lead by 2. They're at the line.
Neither of these teams back up. They play very aggressively at both ends.
Up and down basketball, indeed. 11:37 left in the first half here. 2 more teams trying to get to the round of 16. And how sweet that would be for both of them, let alone College of Charleston. The good news is they move to the round of 16. I would think the bad news is they get Kansas.
You're exactly right. Boy, were they impressive again today against Purdue.
Cougars have won 23 in a row. The last loss was almost 3 months ago. All right, so there's a situation there. Let's go up to Salt Lake, where St. Joe's is putting on a clinic, really, in three-point shooting. They lead 30-22. They're 6 for 16 in three-pointers.
But watch out, Pat, because what Boston College is doing is playing smash-mouth basketball. St. Joe's is already over the limit. Daniel Abrams getting people into foul trouble, and you know the backcourt of the Eagles eventually will be in a position to control the game. I like what BC is doing. You go with that jump shot too much on the St. Joe's end, you don't have the balance you need over the long haul.
Danny Abrams, just 3 points. He's being doubled or tripled.
But he's finding open people, and he is getting people into foul trouble down there.
Arthur Davis, 14 points for St. Joe's. 5:15 left in the first half.
Davis had those 14 points in about 3 minutes in this game.
Spurt ability. A couple of East Coast schools, not to overlook this, playing in the altitude west of Salt Lake City. All right, let's send you back to Auburn Hills and Iowa State Cincy. 27-22. Iowa State at the line and on top by 5.
All right, Patrick, you talked about advancing to the Sweet 16. Well, Iowa State, they're trying to advance to the Sweet 16 for the first time since the 1985-86 season. And the Cyclones had Jeff Hornacek and Jeff Blair on their team. Right now, they lead at 28-22 with 6:24 remaining. Brannon, 15-footer, and snatched down by Kelvin Cato.
Yeah, they've got it in position as Iowa State where they want it now, because now they got Brannon taking shots, and they figured out how to get Kelvin Cato opposite, so when the rebound came, he had a chance to get to it.
Willoughby, guarded by Baker. Inside, Cato, sealing Fortson, jump hook, and it rattles out. Scramble for the ball, picked up by Brannon.
Always in the midst of where the ball is, if there's some kind of huddle, Brannon will be there trying to pick it up.
Flint, got it.
That was not a force that necessarily Tim Floyd was ready to deal with. I'm watching him now. He was going to make a substitution because they didn't expect Flint to get going, but he is a guy who can shoot with range. 6
points now for Damon Flint, the senior from Cincinnati. And here's a steal. Brannon. Back out. Flint got a good look and made him pay for it.
A mishandle by Brannon gets Flint a three-point shot. Get a three ball out of it.
Damon Flint, 3 of 3 from downtown, and a timeout called by the Cyclones. They want to talk things over as Damon Flint has tied this game at 28.
Well, it's a bad pass, I thought, because he had another side to go. But Brannon, who I think has done a lot of the little things. See, he loses the ball there, gets it back to Flint. Flint makes his third three, in the game against Butler, he was 1 of 4 from the three-point line. So now they've got to understand he's hot. They've got to go guard him.
8 points, 9 assists against Butler for Damon Flint. Now the winner of this game will face the winner of Xavier UCLA coming up later on, and they will advance to play in San Antonio, Texas. And the three-point shooting for both teams, not shabby. Iowa State 4 of 5, Cincinnati 5 of 10. Remember, the Cyclones were 1 of 12 from the three-point line against Illinois State. Here's Pratt. They wanted to travel. His floater inside goes.
I think they had an argument, but you got Pratt where he's at his best, inside the paint.
And 9 first-half points for Kenny Pratt. Jackson Julson takes a step in, picks up his dribble. Damon Flint with Jacy Holloway on him. He's got about a 4-inch height advantage. Julson, long rebound out to Holloway.
Yeah, but he's got a 4-inch height advantage, but what they do, they shade. And they started to shade, which means he face guards, he covers him, he has no regard to the ball. Jacy Holloway started to do that to Flint. They just threw it over the top to Flint.
Almost travels. Kept his pivot foot, and Bankhead will give it back to him.
Does a good job of coming to meet the ball because his other teammates are standing there watching him.
9 seconds to go on the shot clock. 4:10 on the game clock. Inside, Pratt. Ball fake up. Can't get it to fall off the side of the rim.
Great hands by the Cincinnati players.
There's Flint. He may look to back down Jacy Holloway. Burton, quick fire. Dedric Willoughby has been quiet in the second half of this first half. Started off on fire with 2 big threes.
He came out hot, then all of a sudden I thought that Cincinnati did a better job defending Willoughby. Coming off the picks is where you have to really get to him.
There he is on the baseline, squares up. And Burton comes up with the rebound.
Had the look, just couldn't put it down.
Burton penetrating. Leaves his feet off the glass, no good. Stripped away from Julson by Holloway. Jacy. Here's Kenny Pratt going baseline, up, hanging in the air, and Julson doing a good job contesting the shot, and we'll get a technical foul.
And he may have an argument because I know it's not where he got going originally. He takes the move to the baseline and gets forearmed almost out of bounds and didn't get that call. And then he came on the other side and was really disappointed on the second one. Watch this. He gets forearmed. See, he gets forearmed, and that did get called. And then Julson just stays with him. Now, he may or may not tapped him, and he said something to the ref right after that, looking for a foul and didn't get it. And he's begging for a foul, and then Fisher felt the first contact was on the ball. So here you get a chance to take a look.
Looked like he was fouled by Jackson Julson, so Darnell Burton at the free throw line, and he comes up short on the first attempt. He'll get the second to fall. 3 minutes and 7 seconds to go here in Auburn Hills. 30-29 our score. And our game summary so far: Iowa State burning it up from downtown, 53% from the field, 39% for Cincinnati. Gus Johnson, Quinn Buckner with you from the Midwest region. And as you mentioned before this game began, Kelvin Cato would not be called upon to score today. Defense is what he really needs to concentrate on.
Well, Gus, and he's been doing that. Although he only has 1 block, where he's really been solid is he's helped off defensively, and he's been able to free it up for some of his teammates to do things like guard the ball or guard the man. You talk about Danny Fortson. Don't even pay attention to the ball. They've got Klay Edwards on him now. You get help from Cato.
Baker trying to beat Willoughby, rejected right there by Kelvin Cato, and you get the help you talked about.
Yeah, and it frees him because now he doesn't have to worry about a main score. So it's a really good defensive play. You see right here, Willoughby is beaten. There's no doubt. You see the reach, and the fact that he blocks shots left-handed makes a big difference because he can get closer to the player. A great reach to get to the block. The foul after the play by Baker.
So Dedric Willoughby at the line, shooting 1-and-1 now. And he'll get the first. And Dedric Willoughby this season at missed 31 straight practices because of hamstring problems. And because of that, he had to rely a lot more on his jump shot instead of getting to the basket like he normally does. Last year, he went to the free throw line, Quinn, close to 9 times per game. This time, only 3 this year.
Yeah, that's what Coach Floyd is saying. It's really hampered his overall game because he hadn't had the explosiveness that he likes to get when it comes to getting to the basket.
Offensive rebound and put back for Danny Fortson. Fortson now with 9 points. Johnson to the basket, tried to deal it to Cato and knocked out of bounds. Will stay right here.
Talk about Kelvin Cato. I mean, he's
Our crack producing staff coming up with this. The Cato on the left, shot blocker. The Cato on the right, a punch blocker. Willoughby had his shot blocked. Jackson Julson. And for those of you that didn't follow action series in the 70s, that's the Cato on the right. Bruce Lee, we have the music and everything for you. The Green Hornet and Cato. I like the guy on the left myself personally.
Well, the guy on the left just picked up his second foul. I happen to like him for this game, to say the least. And Tim Floyd has got a decision to make. He has 2 minutes and 15 seconds to go. And the question is whether or not you want to leave Cato in the game. He pushed Danny Fortson in the back and picked up, as I said, Cato picked up his second foul.
Danny Fortson, 8 of 9 from the free throw line against Butler, and we jinx him there. 32-31. 2 minutes and 6 seconds remaining here in the first half of play. Here's Willoughby. Back to Johnson, guarded by Burton. Cato trying to make a move. The kick out. Holloway, and he is fouled.
On a 3-point shot. Well, that is really just a bad decision there. I think it was Baker who got out and got that foul. Getting back to Jacy Holloway because Baker had gone in. First of all, he goes in to help and he comes back. And he fouled him.
So Jacy Holloway, 81% free throw shooter, senior from McPherson, Kansas. And he'll get the first.
2 shots, L, 2 shots.
Iowa State on top 33-31 with Jacy Holloway at the line. Cyclones shooting 50% from the field. And for Cincinnati, they're shooting 36%.
Well, they've gotten a lot of good things, and particularly from Jacy Holloway, who right now has 10 points. And he's a guy that his high for the year is 14. We talked about the fact that he needed to stretch the defense. He got 3 foul shots because he got fouled behind the 3-point line and just picked up another point.
And normally for Cincinnati, they are defenders. Teams shoot less than 40% against them. But today, Iowa State shooting 52% now. Flint. That's an air ball and out of bounds.
I mean, first of all, that shot is way too far out. But here was the save made by Melvin Levitt here. This ball, I mean, he does a very good job just to keep it in play. And he gets it to Damon Flint, who just shot an air ball. First of all, I thought he shot it too far out. As you look at it, a 3-ball shooter from Dedric Willoughby, I'm sure they'll try to get him a shot.
Damon Flint, prior to that shot, 3 of 3 from the arc. Now don't forget, coming up at halftime, Pat O'Brien and Clark Kellogg will have all the tournament news for you, plus scores and highlights and live look-ins and action going on around the NCAA tournament. That's coming up on Pennzoil at the half. So a 20-second timeout called, 35-31. Tim Floyd's team leading, and Tim Floyd, he comes from a coaching family. His father, Lee, was the head coach at Southern Mississippi for 14 years. And his son really doing a good job. Turned down the job at LSU. They had pretty much offered it to him. He has coaching experience in the state of Louisiana, coaching at New Orleans.
He's well thought of as a coach, one of the outstanding young coaches. As you take a look at the foul that we have on Tim Floyd. Talked to him yesterday. I mean, he knows precisely what he wants to get done. Like a lot of coaches, the difference is he's able to get his guys to do it, teach them the little ways, the small things.
Holloway. Inside. Pratt posting up. He pops out, gets it back. Johnson puts it on the deck. Cut off nicely by Ruben Patterson. Lobbed inside. Kenny Pratt couldn't hang on. Saved it. 8 to shoot on the shot clock. Big hop inside. Pratt fade away, and it rattles down.
He did a very good job of taking his time, and Dedric Willoughby is the one that had really helped him, because Dedric Willoughby got it to him in a position where he could make a decision as to whether or not he needed to get a quick shot or not, and he took his time.
Kenny Pratt, 11 first half points for the senior from Taft High School out of Chicago. Here's Levitt.
Hadn't been taking that shot, but Levitt stepped out and took it.
Kelvin Levitt, sophomore from Cleveland. One of the high risers on this Cincinnati team. 39-inch vertical. 19 seconds to go.
This is where they like to spread you out. And really what they want to get out of it is a foul if they can. That's all Iowa State wants out of it. They can get you to foul them. That's what they want.
Crossover. Pratt to the cup. Pulls up. Follow no good by Johnson. 2 seconds on the clock. Burton. Oh! And it's off the side of the rim. So we head into halftime. Iowa State, the number 6 seed, leading Cincinnati 37-34. Pat O'Brien, Clark Kellogg will be along with Finzoil at the half right after this message and a word from your local station. They went 11 of 12 from the free throw line, and that's been the difference. They lead at 37-34. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Genuine Chevrolet, Budweiser, Best Western, and by Nike.
And welcome back to the Palace here in Auburn Hills, Michigan. The Midwest region, second round action. Iowa State on top of Cincinnati, 37-34. And Gus Johnson and Quinn Buckner with you. At the beginning of this game, Quinn, you talked about Cincinnati having to have a guy like Bobby Brannon take shots he's not normally accustomed to taking, and that's what Iowa State has forced him to do.
They really have. He only had 5 shots in the game against Butler. He has 5 at the first half. Danny Fortson only has 5 shots. You can't have that. Fortson's got 9 points. 4 of those points came on 2 putbacks. You've got to get Fortson more touches if you're Cincinnati.
Danny Fortson, 4 of 5 from the field in the first half, and the statistics from the first half of play. Cincinnati, 12 of 32 from the field, 38%. However, different story for Iowa State. They shoot 50%, but more importantly, Tim Floyd talked about wanting to go to the free throw line. They go to the free throw line 12 times. They're 11 of 12 from the charity stripe.
And the other side of that is that Cincinnati's only been 6 times, so they've been able to get to the line, but the other side of that coin is you can't foul, and that's why they've had some success here in the first half.
So Iowa State will open up the second half with the basketball. On the floor for them, Bankhead, Holloway, Pratt, Willoughby, and Cato. Rebound there to Brannon. Opening moments of the second half. Iowa State on top, 37-34. Cyclones shot 50% in the first half. They were 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Here's Damon Flint from the corner. And it's picked up by Kelvin Cato.
And did a good job getting a body on Fortson. He went for the rebound, lost it, and it comes to Cato. They have face guarded Fortson making it difficult for a pass to get there. Now, I'll tell you what face guarding really does. Most guys get the ball, and when they know they're going to get it, they just assume they'll catch it. The question is what move they'll make. What Danny Fortson's first concern is now, how do I get the ball? And that takes away from him worrying about getting it in.
Davis trying to take Holloway off the dribble, and Holloway draws the blocking foul. A look at the brackets here in the Midwest. Iowa State and Cincinnati playing. The winner will face the winner of Xavier UCLA coming up later on this evening. And those two teams will advance to San Antonio to play in the next round. Nice dump down. Davis underneath.
And that was a Kelvin Cato travel call for you. Cato is under, and Davis traveled because he tried to fake Cato out of position.
And Jacy Holloway with the basketball right now. Hadn't hit a field goal in the past 4 games. Had 11 first-half points. So everybody stepping up, including Kenny Pratt. And we'll get a foul inside. Jacy Holloway.
Jacy's a really important part of the team. One of the things I think Tim Floyd likes about him is that he's a guy, he can tell him what he wants done. He doesn't have to repeat it. Jacy gives him the head to make everything else happen, a good execution.
Lobbed inside, Bankhead had trouble getting the handle on it, gathered himself, and put it back in, 39-34.
Lob was out by Holloway, exactly where the ball had to be lobbed. He made it in traffic.
Danny Fortson trying to clear some space inside. Kenny Pratt going down. Here's Davis, ball fake, around the world, got it off and buried it.
Nice shot by Davis that time, anticipating Cato coming over and shot it high. Cato couldn't get to it.
Cato double teamed on the sideline and steps out of bounds.
It was a bad decision for Cato to get there, but let's let everyone know this young man's only played 2.5 years of basketball. He did not play in high school, and he has gone through a kind of a whirlwind tour, if you will. Went to South Alabama, didn't stay there long because he was really immature. He finally ended up getting into Floyd got into kind of a recruiting battle with Lynn College from Boca Raton, trying to recruit Kelvin Cato. So this is a young guy in terms of his basketball knowledge, and he will make mistakes like the one previous.
Kelvin Cato out of Decatur, Georgia. Family now lives in Atlanta, and the reason he didn't play high school basketball is because his family moved from town to town. So instead of being able to play high school basketball, he was always forced to play on AAU teams in the summer, and not the same kind of competition.
And, you know, he learned to do 1 or 2 things, and he's got a good athletic ability. He can jump, so that helps him. But in terms of understanding, he doesn't have it. If you take a look at the family, that right there.
His mom, Carolyn, his father, Don, and his little brother, Don, who's 6'6", attending a junior college right now.
Not playing any basketball. He's not interested in basketball
yet. 39-36. Iowa State. Burton. Let it go. And the rebound goes to Dedric Willoughby.
I mean, you cannot win games if you're going to. I mean, in the long run, shooting shots from that range will cost. Got to get better percentage shots than a 3-pointer.
Willoughby for 3.
Unless you're Dedric Willoughby. The 3 ball for Dedric. No, but I'm talking about in terms of what Cincinnati's done. They didn't run an offense. All of a sudden, Darnell just pulls up and shoots a 3.
Dedric Willoughby, 3 of 6 from the 3-point line, and against Illinois State, 1 of 7. So he practiced his 3-point shot as Brannon hits it. And one thing he talked about that I feel is really, really interesting, Quinn, is he had to get accustomed to the rims here in the Palace. And once he did, it seems like his 3-point shooting has gotten that much better. Here's Steele. Flint picked his pocket, rolled, offensive foul.
He got a little anxious, did Flint, but he made a very good defensive play to come up with the basketball. Bobby Huggins doesn't agree. Dedric gets there, establishes position. There's contact made. I think if you stand up, they don't make that call, but the going to the ground, Dedric Willoughby forced the official to make a call. They make it in favor of the Cyclones. you know, to your rim story, every gym rims are a little bit different depending on the weather, and that may sound strange, but this place is also different in that the depth perception is very much like a dome. So you need to work on being able to focus on the rim. So that's why he needed the extra work.
15:53 to go. They look pretty good right now. 15:53 to go here in the second half. 42-38 our score, and some of the news from the tournament so far. Dean Smith supplants Adolph Rupp and becomes the all-time winningest coach in the history of college basketball. 877 wins now. UNC in the Sweet 16. 15 of the last 17 years.
You can see Cal got by Villanova. Ben Braun doing a great job with that team. He just got there this year. And they're playing without their leading scorer, Ed Gray.
3 of the Sweet 16 decided. Fortson inside, and he is fouled. Kansas on its way to Birmingham. So Danny Fortson, who really hadn't gotten a lot of touches today, or good looks at the basket, will head to the line.
Well, they got Danny Fortson the ball, and he did what we talk about with any shot blocker. You can't go away from him, and he knows that he got away with it a little bit and gave a little wink to Kelvin Cato because he went to him, and that's what you have to do to a shot blocker so you can keep them from getting off their feet cleanly.
So Danny Fortson with the first free throw.
See, he gets the ball. Cato's behind him. Now watch. He goes to him, and because the contact was made in the act of shooting, Kelvin Cato picks up a foul. Danny Fortson gets 2 foul shots.
Second foul on Cato. And Fortson came into this game. He had made 34 of his last 38 free throws. 42-39 now our score. Here's Willoughby putting it on the floor, bringing it up against Davis. Trapped on the sidelines. Correction on the foul situation. Cato now with 3 fouls. High pick and roll. Holloway hesitates. Bankhead looks to the backside. Willoughby all alone, and he got it to fall.
Well, it's a good find. You got your shooter wide open, and a guy who kind of plays offense a little bit in Bankhead. Get it to your shooter because you can get a rhythm going with Dedric, and he can get on a roll.
Iowa State came into this tournament losers of 4 of their last 6 ball games. They lost 72-48 to Kansas in the semifinals of the Big 12 tournament. Meanwhile, Bobby Brannon continuing to stroke the basketball. 8 points for Bobby. And he averages only 5 on the year. And that'll be over and back.
Well, Jacy had, they're saying he had control over it, and he dropped it back on the court, on the other side of the court. I mean, the pass will come to him, and he basically has, it bounces in the front court. And so once it goes to the back court with both of his feet, he's established it in the front court, and that's the back court.
Inside, Fortson got Cato up in the air, and there's Brannon to finish it off.
Well, they've got to start being concerned about Brannon, because Brannon is starting to become a pain for them in terms of getting numbers. He's got 10 at the moment.
At 12 points against Butler to go along with 10 rebounds. Kenny Pratt, big first half for Iowa State with 11. 45-43. Pratt squares up. Darnell Burton now in the game, guarded by Bankhead. He'll start on the low block. Here's Fortson trying to seal, and he picks up an offensive foul.
I mean, it was a tough play because Danny turned strong, and Cato is behind him. Danny's there. Fortson turns, and you get a chance to make the call.
Looks like Cato may have flopped down, but Fortson picks up his 3rd foul. 2-point lead for the Cyclones. 13 minutes, 22 seconds to go from the Palace here in Auburn Hills, Michigan. side of the Midwest region, second round action. Inside, Cato, triple team, put it on the floor, goes up strong, and gets the basket.
That's such an unusual circumstance for Cato. Because he's not been a scorer for the majority of his career, double teams, you can see him panic a little bit. He was able to get close enough to the basket that he could put it off the glass and get an easy shot.
Davis looking for Danny Fortson again. Davis passing up the shot, a wide open look there for him. Here's Brannon. Top of the key, Davis, short. Hustled down by Dedric Willoughby.
Yeah, they put Willoughby on Brannon to keep a better eye on Brannon. That shot basically came back to him, but Brannon was hustling for the rebound, missed it.
Here's Holloway, really judicious with the basketball, does not turn it over. Leads the Big 12 in the assist to turnover ratio. Kenny Pratt wheeling inside, going high off the glass.
Because he had Willoughby on the other side, and the defense was away, so Brannon couldn't get help.
14 points for Kenny Pratt, and the Cyclones, a number 6 seed, stunning Cincinnati right now. They lead at 49-43.
Well, the ball will go inside to Cato, who had 29 against Butler. But watch, all of a sudden, the only thing he can do is put it down after he may have gotten away with the walk. When he's that close, there's not much that Fortson or anyone else can do with Kelvin Cato. But again, Kenny Pratt, see, there's no help to the other side. You see, he wills, and he comes in a little bit on Brannon, and Brannon did not want to pick up a foul. Pratt at his best in the paint.
Iowa State with their biggest lead of the game. 49-43 now. And the Cincinnati Bearcats, the preseason #1 team in the nation. They bounce it inside, Fortson. Up in the air, and it rattles out. And Kelvin Cato picks up the foul.
That may be his 4th foul, because and the play is a really smart play by Danny Fortson. You have a shot blocker. There is always going to be a shot blocker's mentality of to try to get to the shot. And what Fortson did was ball faking. He went up as though he was going to get it. On one side, watch, he'll ball fake up, and he goes for it the second time, and then Danny comes to the other side and almost gets it to go in. Cato picks up his 4th and has to sit down. On that one, Cato will have to learn as he matures as a basketball player. Your hands up, you force Fortson to shoot over the top. Because the question has always been, can Danny Fortson beat people with long arms, long reaches? He is doing so far in the second half.
But more importantly, Cato picks up that foul with 12 minutes to go on the clock. Fortson adds the free throw. 49-45. And what kind of adjustment now does Tim Floyd make with his shot blocker on the bench, the All-American who makes his living in the paint, on the floor, and 12 minutes to go?
They'll just, if they have to, they'll double team. They'll keep shading him, keeping the man in front of him, and they'll just double team. And they'll take their chances to try to get because they can get a 4th foul on Danny Fortson as well. So I think that would be the best course of action.
So Klay Edwards replaces Kelvin Cato. Danny Fortson, 12 points now, 3 rebounds. He's got 3 fouls. Here's Willoughby.
On a 3-ball. Call it 3-ball. Side pocket, by the way.
So Dedric Willoughby will have to take over now. 19 points for him. Inside, Ruben Patterson has been very quiet in this game, going strong to the goal. His first 2 points.
And they needed another score. Damon Flint made 2 3-point shots in the first half, and the basket was made. Danny Fortson gave a little pump of the arm because he knew he'd basically gotten bailed out in terms of having to score all the time.
So Burton picking up the foul.
Willoughby is a guy that they look for all the time. Watch him step over the 3. Flint goes over the top. Too late. 3-ball. Side pocket.
And our game summary, first of all, Kelvin Cato has 4 fouls. However, Iowa State shooting 55%, and the guy that's really starting to take over, Dedric Willoughby, 19 points, 5 of 8 from long range.
Because they've played very well, almost a perfect game. Dedric Willoughby is the one who said, this is my senior year. This is the last go-round. He was going to do everything in his power to get it going. He shot it well, but his team is 7 for 11 from the three-point line and 54% all told.
52-47. We take a look at some scores. 56-52, Boston College leading St. Joe's.
This College of Charleston in Arizona. This is the one I told you had to watch. As you see the little lob pass inside to Klay Edwards.
That's the first 2 points of the game for Klay Edwards. Fourth assist of the game for Jacy Holloway. And a steal. Holloway got a hand on it, and he'll recover the basketball.
He needed to come back and get it because all of his teammates ran by, and the offense on the ball almost went back to Cincinnati. But bad ball handling. No, you know, that's an unforced error there. Now they'll spread it out here. Do a little. They can go inside if they want to Kenny Pratt, but this is not a stall tactic. They want to spread the defense out here.
Cincinnati came into this game with the goal of maintaining their concentration throughout the entire ball game, taking care of the ball and making good passes. Right now, I don't think they'd be happy with that. They come up with the steal. Here's Flint. He's got Patterson on the wing, finds him underneath, and he'll jump straight up and dunk it.
Yeah, that was a good effort by Patterson to get into the lane. You see Cincinnati trying to put a little more pressure on.
Willoughby double teamed, and he'll get a quick timeout.
Well, that's what they needed. They are having a real problem getting the ball to the center of the court, Gus. And because of that, there's no help. And clearly there's no help getting back defensively, as you see Flint get it, and then coming to what would be his right is Ruben Patterson, the junior college young man who has gotten here and has got what they call great hops, can get up and down. He's starting to add a little offensive punch to what they're doing.
Patterson came into the NCAAs averaging 16 points over the last 6 games, but he has been slowed down by a bad ankle. Now, coming up, Iowa and Kentucky at 7:06. Others will see Xavier and UCLA right here. Both of those games with the potential of being very competitive. Andre Woolridge from Iowa, one of the best guards in the country. But right here, 9:29 to go, 54-49. These two teams playing for a trip to the Sweet 16 in San Antonio, Texas.
Oh,
Holloway all by himself. Way too strong.
And Johnson does a good job coming up with this rebound, but they ran the play. They run out. He's got to shoot it because it didn't hit the shot clock. It didn't hit the rim. Oh, and Fortson ripped it out of bounds. The ball came down. It came down at an awkward angle, almost straight down when Pratt shot it. The shot clock is at 2 now. Watch it go straight down. See, that's an odd angle, and Fortson thought he had it, so Klay gets it, and then Fortson goes to get it as it's coming to him and just drops it right out of bounds.
So the Cyclones get a new 35. And they get it inbounds. This is Pratt. He'll dribble it out top. Leading 54-49.
It is a little bit like a 4 corners, but it's mainly to try to spread the defense because Cincinnati has gone into a zone. They really want to get the ball to Willoughby if they can, unless they can get Pratt inside the paint.
There he is, left hand, comes up short, and he is fouled. It looks like it may be Danny Fortson.
And if that's Fortson, that'd be his 4th.
It will not be Fortson. Looks like DeJuan Baker, who was also close on the play, picks up the foul. And that will be his 3rd.
And DeJuan Baker's getting a real conversation from Bob Huggins because you've got a guy coming off the bench. The one thing a coach can't afford to have are turnovers, people off the bench, or bad fouls. That play happened because Baker's not in the right position, and Kenny Pratt is able to get to the basket and gets fouled. You cannot allow that to happen.
Pratt, a 63% free throw shooter. And he nails the second. 16 points for Kenny Pratt. He's really rebounded from a poor shooting performance against Illinois State. 1 of 7 from the field. 5 points. Different story today. 56-49. Some zone being applied by the Cyclones. Brannon, rebound and put back.
When they play this, and they're like junk defenses, if you will, and just unusual. The tough part about it is getting on a man and blocking him out, and that's what's happening to Iowa State. They can't get to Brannon because of the junk defense they're in.
Cincinnati so far really dominant on the offensive glass. They're out rebounding Iowa State 10-1. They trail though 56-51.
They got the shot clock down to 10. They've got to go to work.
8 on the shot clock. Here's Julson trying to get to the goal. Pulls up and he buries it.
He's really athletic, and he's made some athletic plays where he missed the first shot. Missed the tip shot down here. And you knew he had some skills. If he can dribble it, he feels comfortable taking the short shot.
Stevie Johnson, a freshman from Beaumont, Texas. Here's Flint. Burton around the screen. Let it go and got it.
Brannon set the pick. A solid pick, and Holloway couldn't get around.
4-point game. 10 points for Burton. Iowa State really able to slow down the game on the half-court set.
You slow it down and you stretch it out whatever way you want to think about it, because what you do is you give yourself additional time. They try to lob, but you give them more time to get Kelvin Cato back in the game. You need guys on your team that understand how to do dirty work. This is Bob Brannon right here. Watch coming right here for the shot. It's going to be Darnell Burton. You see he stands right there. Holloway doesn't get there in time. Johnson has got to get there to prevent the 3-ball.
Seven minutes remaining here in the second half. Iowa State leading Cincinnati by 4 here in the Midwest region. The winner to go on to the Sweet 16 in San Antonio, Texas.
You know, and if you're Cincinnati, the way things have gone for you through the course of the game, and you have a chance to be where you are now, only down 4 points, you have nothing to be, overly concerned about. You're in pretty good position.
Damon Flint now playing point guard, can play either the 1 or the 2. Here's Burton around the screen, got in deep, let it go, and he can't get the roll.
Well, that's one they would love to have, because Cato's out of the game. That's not one they're going to get when he gets back in.
Kelvin Cato picking up his 4th foul with 12 minutes to go here in the second half. Iowa State so far, though, holding on to the lead. They had a 6-point lead when he went out of the lineup. Brannon got a hand on it. Pratt will keep it. Got to the basket, had it stripped away.
And great help by Burton, because Brannon was about to get beat by Pratt.
So the fans from Cincinnati get on their feet, rooting on the Bearcats. Levitt inside. Here's Brannon. And he'll take it and get it.
Oh, the big fellas played good for them. He was the guy that they were going to let shoot the ball, but he's got 14 points.
2-point field goal by Bobby Brannon, and Cincinnati, they're clawing their way back into this game, trailing 58-56. Brannon out of Cincinnati, Ohio's Moeller High School with 14 points. On the baseline, Pratt somehow got the shot off, and he's fouled.
Brannon makes a step out on the other side of the court to try to step out on Dedric Willoughby, and Pratt goes around and to the basket. And that's how he gets free. The first time he faked this shot, the second time he got himself a rhythm, did Bob Brannon. So he got his career high of 14 points as he goes to take a little bit of a breather, picking up his 4th foul.
And when we talked to Tim Floyd yesterday, he said that he wanted somebody like Bob Brannon to make shots against Iowa State. And we asked him, what do you do if he does start it? If he does start hitting shots?
You know, the only adjustment they made earlier when he got on the roll and made 2 or 3 baskets was they put Dedric Willoughby at the point of their kind of 3-man zone, because he's more active. And then Brannon stopped scoring. But Brannon had gotten rhythm for the second shot, and so he was getting himself comfortable. Fortunately for the Cyclones, he got his 4th foul and sitting on the bench.
Back in the ball game now for Iowa State, Kelvin Cato, who went out at the 12-minute mark with his 4th foul. Coming off that big 29-point effort against Illinois State. Patterson. Cyclones in the zone.
Oh, they got Danny one-on-one with him.
They're swinging in front, try to split the defense. Leans in, no call, and a basket.
There's no call, and if anything, it's the benefit of the doubt because Cato must have had his hands over Danny Fortson as opposed to straight up.
14 points now for the All-America out of Pittsburgh. He's only a junior.
They'll want to try to get this into a 1-4 circumstance. You know they're going to Dedric Willoughby on the pick.
Watch him away from the basketball. Guarded by Levitt. Levitt, a good athlete.
Shot clock is at 4.
Pratt, he'll force one up. And
3 ball, straight up.
Kenny Pratt.
Well, they had it well defended. He's got 21 points on that basket, but they had to play well defended, and Pratt throws one up with the shot clock running down for 3.
63-58. Here's a kid that only had 5 points against Illinois State. Patterson to the rack, and he'll lay it in.
And he's got more confidence because he knows Cato can't come after him aggressively with 4 fouls.
3-point lead for Iowa State. The winner to go on to the Sweet 16.
Jacy Holloway, you've got to like what he does. You know, you talked about him not turning it over. He threw the ball to Edwards and knew Edwards was going to have a tough position to have the ball, and he just raced to get it back from him.
Holloway right now on the right side, guarded by Flint. Here's the lob. Cato back out, a steal. Patterson out of bounds, and Cincinnati will hold on. It looked like it went off of a leg of one of the Iowa State players.
I think it went the other way. I really do. I mean, Iowa State definitely, it went off one of their players. Watch, he drops it right off of Dedric Willoughby's foot.
3:22 to go, 3-point lead for the Cyclones.
You're up, man. Nice shot.
Kenny Pratt, who's 1 of 8 all season from the 3-point line, coming up with a dagger here, Quinn.
Well, he just felt comfortable with it. You could tell by the stroke. He just got right there. You can see he's excited. He's 1 for 2 today to get his 21 points. But I think he was much more aggressive coming out today than he had been in the past.
Three minutes, 22 seconds to go. Second round action from the Midwest region. Iowa State from the Big 12 on top of Cincinnati out of Conference USA, 63-60.
Conference USA and Cincinnati is getting all they can handle here.
Levitt trying to tie the game. Offensive rebound and put back.
Patterson has been big. He's found a way to get himself involved in the game, and he's making a huge difference. Getting active on the glass, going to the hole.
He's got 8 points now. Other games, the College of Charleston and Arizona tied at 52. BC leading St. Joe's. St. Joe's leading BC.
Shot clock is down again.
Here's Cato. Turnaround jump shot. Good.
Well, that's not somewhere they thought they would go to with the basketball, the Kelvin Cato.
(65-62), 2:14 to play.
They've got Cato staying a lot closer to Danny Fortson now that we're down under the 3-minute mark.
Here's Fortson on the low post. Got Cato up in the air again and made him pay for it.
Yeah, and I think he got away with the travel, and Cato said something to the official. Cato had position, but Danny Fortson got it up there. Down 1 point now.
1:49 left. The first ever meeting between Iowa State and Cincinnati. The Cyclones haven't been to the NCAA Sweet 16 since the 1985-86 season. 11 to go on the shot clock. Here's Holloway.
He's got to make a play.
Trying to beat Flint off the dribble. Scramble for the ball, out of bounds. And Cincinnati will pick it up.
We'll get a 20-second timeout, but the defense by the Bearcats was as good as it had to be. Holloway took it and couldn't make a play. And then as the ball spurted out, it went off of the Cyclones. Holloway lost it first. You see going down for it, and you can see go down to get it. It goes off of Willoughby's foot as Burton makes a dive for the ball.
17 turnovers now for Iowa State.
We'll get to see if Fortson, he travels twice. And the official just was, I think he was more concerned about the foul circumstances. And Danny Fortson was able to get the ball in the basket to get his team down by 1.
All week long, Danny Fortson has been talking about not just doing well in this region, but winning a national championship. That's very important to him. He feels that this Cincinnati team has the talent to win it all.
Well, even to go along with that, Gus, their concern at Cincinnati is they haven't gotten the respect they feel they deserve. And a national championship is the only thing they feel will get them that respect.
They were back-to-back national champions in 1961 and 1962. Burton around the screen, bounce pass, Levitt, rejected by Cato, and he's out of here. Cato picks up his 5th foul.
Oh my goodness.
And Tim Floyd is livid on the sidelines.
We'll get a chance to see how Kelvin Cato goes over to the basket. Good play here by Burton to come. Now, come over for the block.
With the body, it was close.
From that angle, it's tough to see anything in terms of the contact. Maybe we can see it from here. That is
look clean.
That it looked to me like a clean block, but the official makes the call, and that's what counts. Kelvin Cato is just fouled out of the game. That is all ball.
So Cato fouls out with 6 points, 5 rebounds, 2 block shots. And the Cyclones leading by 1, but Levitt at the line. Trying to tie things up. And he does.
Well, you know that they have Iowa State, Dedric Willoughby that can score, even though Cato's out of the game and won't be able to help them keeping Fortson from scoring. But it's time now for Kenny Pratt to really step up if Iowa State is to have a chance.
Second shot by Levitt, good. Cincinnati, their last lead, 22-21, 9 minutes to go in the first half. And now they're on top, 66-65, 54 seconds to play here in regulation.
This is a tough matchup. If Holloway has to try to take Flint, he can't because Flint's arms are too long. He can get to the ball off the dribble.
Keep your eye on Kenny Pratt. He's got Brandon on him, 12 to shoot. Pulls up, 14-footer, double clutch. Rebound inside. Scramble picked up by Burton. And a traveling call. Burton ridden down to the floor. No foul called on the play. Huggins can't believe it.
Well, the ball goes on the floor, and Kenny Pratt gets on Burton's foot, and Burton can't go anywhere. And in his struggle to try to get away, they call traveling. They've got a chance to go for the last shot because it's 34.1 seconds if they can get it in.
Here's Edwards. He takes the shot left hand. Good. 32.4 seconds to play. Iowa State reclaiming the lead. Up by 1. And we'll get a timeout.
What a great game.
NCAA basketball. 26.4 to go. These two teams playing for a trip to the Sweet 16. And here's what's happened in the last 45 seconds.
Well, we get a traveling call right here. You see, clearly Kenny Pratt is on his leg, and if you call anything, you got to call the foul. They don't. Instead, Bob Huggins goes absolutely berserk. I cannot believe it. Instead, they call traveling, and Klay Edwards gets this basket to put Iowa State up by 1. The ball, there was a timeout call, and now Cincinnati is attacking.
20 seconds to go. Here's Flint, top of the key, with Holloway. Burton, left wing. They try to run the high pick and roll, and he's fouled. Kenny Pratt reaching in.
They had a foul to give. Yeah, they had a foul to give. That's the reason that they did that. And it was to stop the play. So Iowa State is taking this timeout to try to figure out what the next play will be. Good foul there.
11.4 to go. Iowa State by 1.
A fella came in the other day.
11.4 seconds to go. Iowa State's Tim Floyd sweating it out on the sidelines. His team up 67-66. And let's reset things for you. Neither team has a foul to give. No 20-second timeouts remaining. Each team with 1 full timeout. The possession arrow in the favor of the Bearcats.
They're going to try to get the ball if they can.
Here's Flint. Pump fake. Got it off short. Scramble for the ball. Picked up by Bankhead. And a foul on the floor.
Bankhead comes up with a huge rebound, but he still's got to make the shot. He's got to make foul shots now. Because even if he makes both, should he make the first one, assuming he makes the first one, they make both. They're only up 3 points. I mean, Flint goes, he short arms this ball. He's got it right where he wants to. He just short arms it. Because he's got Jacy Holloway on him. No way that he should be of any real value.
So Bankhead heads to the free throw line, the senior from Pacoima, California. As Pratt reacts, he's a 66% free throw shooter, Shawn Bankhead. And he misses. 4.3 to go. Here's Flint.
He's got to let it go.
Takes a look, let it go. No good. Iowa State, they're headed for San Antonio, and a trip into the Sweet 16.
He misses the free throw, and right away, they're not sure what they want to do. Patterson gets it and goes a little slow, and Flint just tries the shot, and he just misses it. And you can just see, as you obviously would be, the Cyclones and their fans watch their bench just go berserk.
So Iowa State, they will head to San Antonio, Texas, and Tim Floyd's team will compete in the Sweet 16. It's the first time since the 1985-86 season that the Cyclones have advanced to the Sweet 16. And another look at our bracket here in Auburn Hills. Iowa State, the number 6 seed. They beat Cincinnati.